Loved this book. Oh, we're kicking off on a good note. All the positivity. And I think we are officially live. Maybe, hopefully, yes, YouTube. Hopefully YouTube likes us as it's, hopefully doing its YouTube magic. I'll do the little intro to show the little video to let people know where they are. So this is me, Books Are My Heart, and this is the Cozy Mystery Book Club's YouTube live stream discussion. And I have one for us because, again, we need one, especially for Death in Castle Dark. I love your photo. I mean, you guys have such cute profile photos because they're both authors. So they both need their official profile photos. And they have such cute photos. I'm like, I'm going to show it again. And I have all of their information in the description box. And I'm going to ask you guys to introduce yourself because I also have little images with your QR codes so people can look you up and find you. So Christina, would you like to introduce yourself to the Cozy Mystery Book Club again?
Sure. I am Christina Romeril. I am the author of The Killer Chocolate Mysteries. They are a Christmas-themed series, and so I hope people took the opportunity when they were on sale this month to get them and read them for Christmas in July, if you haven't already. Christmas in July ends today, so yeah, so I'm excited to be talking about something non-Christmas, actually, because I am deep in my work in progress, which is very Christmassy.
Well, I mean, you can't really get more. I mean, this one is actually set in July, and I forgot that the book was set in July until they were having their 4th of July celebration. And then I remembered why it was in the voting TBR pool for the July month. I'm like, this makes sense now. But anyway, Paula, would you please introduce yourself to our Cozy Mystery Book Club sleuthing family?
I'm happy to be here tonight. Thank you all for being here. I am Paula Charles. I write the Hometown Hardware Cozy Mystery series. It's set in Northeastern Oregon. Second one will be coming out in January. First one came out last January. As my second persona, Jana Rollins, I write the Zen Goat Cozy Mystery series, which is goat yoga set on a farm in New Hampshire.
I love how different they both are. And I'm going to pull up their information. So we have the lovely Paula Charles here. Here's her QR code to bring you to her Instagram. She also has her website, which is linked in the description box. And Christina's information is right here, her Instagram. And then she has a website as well. So again, if you're interested in all of their information and looking up their books to add to the TBR, I've got you covered. I promise.
Thank you for that.
Of course. And then for those of you who have been members of the book club for a long time, you're going to remember them because both of them have been guests before. So Paula was for Tagged for Death. Christina was actually one of our November. I think we actually ended last year with our discussion for Sprinkle with Murder. I think that might have been one of our last discussions of the year. So both are returning guest hosts. So hopefully you remember the fun and we're going to have some more tonight. Oh, and all the comments are already pouring in. This is so exciting. Oh, someone's already talking about the series. It doesn't seem like the series is continuing, but I really wish that it would. Okay, we're going to have to look into this because I know there is a book 2.
Yes, and I checked that just before we went on air. So book 2 was published in 2022, so by Berkeley. So I mean, if they're doing it in every year publishing thing, then they have missed 23 and 24 by the looks. So it may be the end of the series.
Oh, well, maybe I know Nancy Coco with her Honeybee mystery series. They only did the first 2 books with Kensington, and she says she's thinking about self-publishing books 3, maybe book 4. Maybe Julia Buckley, aka Veronica Bond, will do the same with this. So there's always hope for the Cozy Mysteries.
And in fact, Vicki Delaney with her Christmas series that she has, I think they had so much people writing in and excited for more that the publisher actually, I think, did give her more contracts based on that. So yeah, if you love the series, write the publisher.
I mean, it's also Vicki Delaney, aka Eva Gates. She is one of the queens of cozy mysteries. I mean, I think she's actually one of the most prolific cozy mystery authors for Canada. I think that was one of her. She's got some sort of title for being a Canadian writer that's very impressive. And I mean, I absolutely adore that woman. I've had her on the channel. She's done stuff with the book club. So if you guys haven't read Vicki Delaney, please look her up because you will not regret it. I love her. As far as shout outs go, you just made me very, very happy with that one. Okay, so I'm going to kick it off and ask, what did you guys think of Death in Castle Dark? Did you enjoy it? Would you recommend it? I mean, apparently there's only 2 books, but I mean, are you going to be reading book 2? What do you think about the book for tonight? Paula, do you want to kick us off?
Sure. Yeah. I loved it. I thought it was a lot of fun. One of the reasons when you were asking for hosts and I saw this book and I was like, yes, I'd love to do that month, was just because of the cover. Because when I was in probably my late teens, early 20s, I loved, and I'm trying to think, are they Gothic romance, ones with the castle and the, woman looking scared? I loved them. And so that really drew me to this. And it gave that vibes. I thought I loved it. It did absolutely have those Gothic vibes. So yeah, I'm all here for the Gothic cozy. Absolutely loved it. And yes, I will be reading book 2. I have not yet.
The way you said the woman looking scared on the cover, I did not expect you to say that. That made my day. I'm like, end of conversation. I'm good, because I did not expect that to come out of your mouth. That was great. Is there anything you want to add, Christina? What did you think of Death in Castle Dark?
I too loved it. It was, as she described, it gave those, even though it's not historical, but it gave those historical Gothic vibes. Phyllis A. Whitney. I mean, it was great. There was a moment in the book where something happened and I literally jumped as I was reading. So, I thought was just so well done. It had just that nice little hint of romance, a little bit more than some cozies, but it it really worked for that book so well. And I can't remember. I don't think I guessed the killer. I think I was surprised at the end.
Mm-hmm. So I just saw Cat Mom, because Cat Mom's got comment and just says, "Oh, a map. You don't get that with the audio." And so I actually went in and took screenshots to show y'all that this is something that totally caught my attention. And it almost doubled at almost, I say almost, a little asterisk, because not every character lives in the castle, but maybe 3 were not members who were living as residents. But for the most part, this acted as a little bit of a character list too, which I appreciated. But there were a lot of rooms in this castle. So I was very happy to have this particular little add-on. And so Cat Mom, yes, in the audio, they start with the prologue. So you get the little introductory of, okay, this is how a murder mystery dinner party plays out. But you don't get the little nice graphic with the audio. And there's no, I don't know how you narrate this particular image, but it's a really nice idea to include this.
I referenced it. I can't tell you how many times I flip back to those pages. It's like, okay, where are we now? And where is those hidden passages at?
Yes. And when I was trying to figure out who did it, and I was, looking at all the different floors and the rooms, and yeah, I would have been lost without it.
So I was really curious what you guys were going to say when it came to the map, because part of me was wondering, is this a great addition? Because I liked it. I liked having the map. I thought it was a nice point of reference. And again, I liked having the characters' names so you could figure out, okay, this is where Elspeth's room is. Oh yeah, we have our costume, creator over here. So I appreciated that. But then my literary mind is going, oh, does that mean that it's difficult? Because if you're reading and you need a visual, does that mean that something failed along the way? I just think it just seems like there's a lot of information for you to remember, and this was a helpful little way to do that. I don't think there was any sort of, there's something missing in the writing that requires the map. I just thought it was a nice addition to things.
No, I agree with that. And in fact, I was so excited when I first saw it. I think I gasped, as you're starting to read the book, and I was like, oh, a map.
There's something so fun about maps, and maybe this is just me as my little cozy mystery reader brain. When it comes to maps in books, I feel like you get them mostly for fantasies, or if there's some sort of long-running series, now we're doing special editions. My Lord of the Rings books, they have multiple maps. Middle Earth, I love it, but you don't really get a lot of maps when it comes to cozy mysteries. So it caught my attention. It was unique to me. Mm-hmm. And I like how people are saying they love the map.
Yeah, I think it's in a lot of cozy mysteries, you have a very small community, and it's usually not difficult to kind of figure out where things are happening. But this castle, because of the size and the different floors, it really was a good visual. And I studied it before I started reading, and then, like Paula, referred back to it constantly. So yeah, there are some books out there that I really do think it would just add so much if the publishers would add a map, because it just makes it fun to be able to really form that picture in your head.
It's true. I love how everyone is saying how happy they were with the maps and how it helped them visualize things. Because when it comes to the layout, I was kind of wondering, like, there were a few characters I had that moment of, okay, which one are you again? So it really helped me with, I'm trying to remember, there was Elsbeth, and then where is it? There's another woman who has her little small place, because there's Xana in the pantry. Then there was another woman I kept losing. Oh, it was Connie's room. I was like, where is Connie's room in this hallway? I kept losing Connie. And then it was Renata, because Elsbeth and Renata are right next to each other. That's where I was getting confused. So that's where I had to go back to reference, like, yeah, okay, they are right next to each other. It's fine. Oh my gosh. Yes. So we also have to talk about the fact that this is actually set. I mean, she's an actress, Nora, our leading lady. She is a sleuther who is supposed to be doing plays in Chicago. And so we have a castle in the middle of the United States of America. Apparently, it is not historical. There was an architect who was, let's just go with the word eccentric, and decided to have this castle erected in honor of the castle he had seen when he was traveling abroad. So the setting of this book is so captivating because you would not necessarily think castle. Let's have a castle in the middle of, because she uses the word boonies. She says it's out in the boonies at one point. I didn't use that word, but that's what she said. But then all of a sudden you have a castle in the middle of nowhere, and I'm going, this is so fascinating. So what did you think of the setting?
It was a juxtaposition with was it Wisconsin or Indiana? One of those.
Illinois.
It was,
yeah, and you know, like, not a place that you associate even with a lot of cozies, right? And so it was just so interesting to have that, and then you toss this castle, this humongous castle, into the middle of that. It just was so so interesting. I really enjoyed that kind of. It was just different, something just a little different from our usual cozies. I kept thinking we were in England, but we're in Indiana or wherever it was, or Illinois.
I see Claudia's comment. You have a castle in your hometown in Montana. And I'm going, how cool is that to have a castle in your hometown? I'm like, you need to have your own cozy mystery that you need to be working on with this castle as a setting. But I was so fascinated by the castle with the modern twist on it, because again, I was an English minor. I mean, I actually had enough credits where I could have petitioned to be a double major with English, but that's a whole separate story. I'm not going to get into that. I love my English literature, my classic. I was fascinated by the fact we had the Gothic setting, but then all of a sudden, instead of having the lanterns, they had their cell phones for flashlights. I mean, there were certain things with this where I was just kind of like, oh my gosh, this is the most entertaining, hysterical thing I can picture, because it was just so not what you usually have in mind when you're thinking, oh, the woman upstairs in the attic, you never knew, or oh, this wing that you're not supposed to go down. They got their flashlights going with their phones. They're texting like, hey, this is where I am in the castle. Come find me. It was just unique. And I don't think I've read a cozy mystery like this, because I love my historical cozy mysteries. I really do. But having a historical setting with modern characters and technology was so captivating for me. So I'm just throwing that out there. And I know there are more comments coming. I saw Crystal T. Knits a while ago mentioned, yes, the Bronte sisters. So this is the other Gothic component of our kittens being named after the Brontes. Our cozy companions. Paula, you write goats. You love your companions. What did you think of our little kittens here?
I thought it was just a lot of fun. And the way that she found them, well, she didn't find them, but you know, the girl walking through the woods with the basket of kittens. It was just so cute and fun. And then to sneak them in the castle and have, you know, slowly, I think it was Dash, maybe her love interest, the detective who, you know, discovered them first, that she had them, and then Connie, and then, you know, everybody except for Derek. Is it Derek, the boss, right?
Derek's the one who owns it.
Except for Derek knew about the kittens like the entire time. It was just very cute, I thought, the way that was handled.
Yeah. I'm so fascinated by this, because so I have my little teacup Maltese Daisy. I love her. I always want to get her a little sibling, though. So I'm always on the lookout for another puppy. I have a dream about her being with the Labrador Retriever. I don't know why, but I would love a kitten. So I'm always doing research, looking for kittens. This woman is able to get 3 pre-spayed kittens for free. for free, even at adoption centers. Because again, I'm looking into like when you are looking for kittens, you're like, okay, let's look around. I always like the idea of going to the shelters, and even for the shelters, I mean, the kittens will cost at least $500, $250 minimum, because they're kittens, so they have a primo price on them. And so I'm thinking, you just got 3 kittens in a basket, already spayed, checked out by the vet, and you got to keep the basket. This is a great deal.
Exactly.
I'm like, even baskets cost $50 on Amazon. I mean,
right?
That's a great deal. I was fascinated by that.
Well, so, and one thing I was concerned about the whole time. So, what was the other? Who was it? Was it Renata that had the other cat?
No,
Oliver?
wasn't it Elspeth? The
costume.
Okay, sure. Yes. So Nora gets cat food and stuff from her, but these are kittens. They should have had kitten food. And then she never goes to the store that I know of to get supplies for the kittens.
That was my other comment.
I'm concerned a little bit about the kittens.
I did worry a little bit about them too, just because they were, like just kind of running wild. And I always thought, I hope nobody steps on them or they get,
And who's cleaning the litter box?
Yes. And that
in there.
It did occur to me that a litter box usually does have a bit of an odor. And so anybody going into that room, wouldn't they know that there are cats there?
Yep. I mean, I'm also weirdly fascinated by the fact that she didn't want to tell the boss. And I mean, yes, he already has a dog, so he's open to animals in general. But so when I was living in DC, my little guy Max, I had to pay rent for him. He was an extra $50 a month. And then when I moved from my studio to my 1 bedroom, he became $75 a month, even though he's still only 5 pounds. So I'm paying rent for my little guy. Like, that should have been one of her perks as this, I don't have to pay for food. I can live here for free. Having animals as your pet for free should have also been listed as one of the perks. Yes. Throwing it out there. Oh, I'm missing some of the, so we also have to talk about there were 3 of them. It's not just a kitten, which I also thought would have been a lot of work. She has 3 kittens.
Actually, at one time, before I discovered I'm allergic to cats, I had 3 cats. And yes, it was a handful. So one was hated the other 2, and she was very quiet, but the other 2 were very rambunctious. And it was a handful.
I'm seeing the comments. I mean, the kittens are so cute. I'm with you guys though. I was worried about them because, again, I have a dog, and I think kittens, yes, they can be left. I mean, cats like to be a little bit more aloof, but my little Daisy, she loves having people around. She needs people around all the time. If you're not there, she looks at you. She starts shaking like, "Where are you leaving me? You can't leave me. I'm cute." So I was worried about these little guys. They got to get used to being alone, because I get the feeling that Nora's going to be investigating other things in book 2. So. I'm curious.
Probably having the 3, they will keep each other company and play and stuff. But yes.
Hey, Claudia, another dog mom. High five. Oh, yes, Rose. Yes, 3 kittens equals huge vet bills. That's accurate. Only other people who own animals understand that. But I was curious because one of the first characters we meet is Connie. So what did you guys think about our side characters? Because Nora very quickly sort of gets acclimated to the castle. She has her interview with Derek. We meet Connie. Then we meet the other characters, which I also want to just pinpoint. I thought this was so fascinating, and I was going to ask y'all as writers and also what you guys in the book club thought of this. We almost had this one scene where we met everyone, which was very, like, it reminded me of Agatha Christie. Like, everyone's around the dinner table and introducing themselves because she's new. And so they're introducing, like, the introductions are for her, Nora, as much as for you, the reader. So I was fascinated by that scene. So we had a lot of characters. Did you guys have a favorite? Was there one you were rooting for, hoping they weren't the bad guy? What were your favorite side character moments? I'm kicking it off to you, Christina.
I was actually suspicious of Connie right from the beginning. I didn't trust her. I thought that, maybe there was a dark side. And then later in the story where something comes up and Nora is suspicious of her, I thought I was being vindicated. It's like, yes, I knew it. And then, we know how it ends. So, she was okay in the end. I had a hard time trusting anybody because everybody, other than maybe Jade, because she was only 15 or 16.
Yeah. So also, she's the one with the cats, right?
The one with the cats, finding good homes for them. So she was.
And she didn't live in the castle.
Yeah, but everybody else, I had a heart, like I really felt so suspicious of everybody and was always looking at, what was their real motive for things. And yeah, even Connie, who, seemed to be nice. I just couldn't trust her until the end.
Interesting. What about you, Paula? Did you have a favorite character, someone you were suspicious of?
I was suspicious of two people in particular, Connie being one of them, because I thought she was too sweet. She was just overly gracious and overly kind and overly taking Nora under her wing, and now we're best friends. And I was suspicious of that. I was also suspicious of Paul. And for the reason that, okay, well, him and Derek are brothers. They both own the castle. They both inherited, but he doesn't even live there. He has another life elsewhere. So I was kind of thinking, this is Gothic. So how about like Dr. Jekyll and Hyde? I was kind of thinking, which, obviously turned out not to be true either. I did not know who did it until the end. I don't know that I necessarily had a favorite character, though I really liked Nora and I really liked Dash. But yeah,
we're gonna have to talk about Dash. We're gonna have to talk about Dash in a second. But I actually really liked Connie. I was never suspicious of her for one reason at the very beginning, and then I was like, okay, I'm in your corner. And later on, when she had her notebook and she said, Nora's going to be a problem, I knew exactly what that was in reference to. So I was not surprised at all about that comment. Again, maybe I've just read a lot of romances and had a lot of cozy mysteries on the TBR for a very long time. But she had Hamlet sleeping in her bed. Hamlet, the dog liked her. She was dog approved. Therefore, I had no suspicions of Connie from the get-go. For some reason, she never made it on my suspect list. Like, even when there were moments when the author really wanted you to have her as a red herring moment, I just didn't fall for it because Hamlet loved her. So that was my little Connie's got a free pass.
That was good thinking. Yes, I didn't pick up on that. True, though.
I mean, the dogs, as soon as this is the other thing too, right? As soon as a character is mean to an animal, they're the bad guy. As soon as the character likes the animal or the animal approves of someone, I'm like, you're a fine love interest. It's all good. But speaking of love interests, we have, at first he was a gardener and then he was revealed to be a detective. So Paula, you mentioned Dash. What were your feelings about Dash and Nora?
I approve. I am Team Dash all the way. Yeah, I loved that. I still don't quite know exactly. Is he a full-time detective? Is he a private investigator? Because he was a gardener. He was there undercover, obviously, as a gardener, and then he was the detective. So I'm kind of not quite clear on that. But he's the right handsome. He was sweet and nice to her. He obviously cares about Nora. So yeah, I'm Team Dash all the way.
Christina, Dash.
100% Dash. When he started as the gardener, I was already thinking, ooh, nice. And when he turned out to be the detective, I was 100% on board. In fact, I really liked that they did that so that he could be there more. The mystery kind of that was already in play when the book started. And I really liked how that was a natural way for him to be around more than, when they're just kind of coming and going and stuff. So I thought that was really well done. And I was definitely rooting for them to get together.
I saw a couple comments were posted asking about potential love interests for Nora. And I thought that it was kind of Dash from the get-go because she did not really seem interested in Derek. He was her interviewer. But again, she didn't like his cockiness, or he was almost a little bit too on point for her. I think she likes Dash being a little bit rougher around the edges, even though he's very, very sweet. And then Paul, I think it's so fascinating to me. I love it when a character can just say, oh, he's a handsome man without it being a love interest. So I kind of appreciated that in the writing. So she goes, oh yeah, Paul's very handsome, but I'm not really thinking of him like this. And she references to the parents that she has a brother-sister relationship with the other castmates living in the castle. So again, Dash isn't living in the castle though, so she can say that to the parents. It works out. But I really liked Dash, and again, this is me being this is my year of Agatha Christie. I've rewatched all the Poirot episodes twice already. So when it comes to Agatha Christie, in Cat Among the Pigeons, there is actually an MI5 or MI6 detective undercover as a gardener at the girls' boarding school. So I'm going, did she take this from Agatha Christie? If not, she's on the same wavelength as Agatha Christie. So kind of giving her props for that one. So Cat Among the Pigeons kind of got a little homage to that in there as well. So I was excited with Dash getting that because it reminded me of Agatha. So I'm giving Julia Buckley, Veronica Bond some credit with that. And I'm seeing other people talking about them in the comments. And he took off his shirt. Desiree, I thought Nora and Paul were going to have chemistry at first. So did you guys ever think of anyone else for Nora aside from Dash, or you guys just team Dash from page 1 of our
I was concerned that there was going to be a love triangle with Paul.
See, I thought
for a little bit, but
like,
I mean, that was taken care of.
But I just thought, I didn't trust him. I thought Paul was a potential villain.
Oh, I did too.
Yeah.
I mean, him with his little office full of gadgets. I didn't know what to do with that at first. It reminded me of a like a little boy in a grown man's body, like Big, where he's buying all the stuff for his. He had all the things you see at Staples. It's kind of those office gifts you give to people or you get, and you're like, okay, what do I do with this now? But he was actually using them. He had everything on display, and also how stressful is his job because he talks about dealing with stress quite frequently. But it was really cute when he it was him, Connie, and Nora, and they go on their little scavenger hunt to, I want to say they went to the antique store, and they were singing in the car on the way there. I thought that was so endearing. So I'm just, as soon as Paul was singing show tunes with them, I was going, he can do no wrong. Okay, Paul, you're fine. And I don't know if this is a spoiler. We can just talk about it now because it's not really part of the mystery. But the sister, Nora has a sister who immediately takes a liking to Paul, and she's visiting her sister, but apparently she's visiting Paul because when they ask, where's your sister? She's off with Paul. So instead of bonding with Nora in her castle, she's got a new potential love interest right there. So it was fine.
Yeah, that worked for me because once I kind of saw that Paul hopefully wasn't going to be the bad guy, I wanted him to have that love interest. And so I kind of had a feeling that's where that was going to come from. So yeah, that wasn't a big surprise to me when Nora's sister and Paul fell for each other.
I love the comment. I hate love triangles. Thank you. I mean, I've read enough of them at this point where it's kind of, okay, if I know what I'm getting into, fine, we're good. But if I don't see it coming and it's left field, you just want to toss the book. So I was happy that it was a one-sided. And also at the very end, spoiler alert, because again, we're talking about the relationship. She actually says, he actually brings up saying, I want to be exclusive. And my heart melted. I'm going, oh, what a good guy. I like you, Dash. I want a Team Dash t-shirt almost. Oh, yes. Claudia, thank you. This was on my list of notes. The two brothers, Nora's twin brothers who are in high school. I got the biggest kick out of them. What did you think of the brothers? I'm asking you, Christina, kick it off. What did you think of the twins?
Love them. They were so funny. They brought some just so much humor, and it just really lightened up the whole book. It was fun. I could have happily seen more of them in the book, actually. They were great, I thought. So,
yeah, Paula, what did you think of the twins?
Same. I really liked them. I have a 16-year-old grandson who they reminded me of, and actually he'd been in a pretty bad accident in the beginning of the month when I was reading this, and then to read this and have them remind me of Noah and his sense of humor. I loved them. I thought they added a lot to the book, and I thought they were super realistic too.
Yeah, they a little bit reminded me of the Weasley twins from Harry Potter. Yeah, kind of that, just always joking around, always having fun, never really serious. Yeah, it was good.
I am so fascinated by characters I'm trying to think how to phrase this. There are characters that you become enthralled with, or characters who garner your affection without being on the page. So I am so fascinated when writers can do that, when they can make you like a character when it has nothing to do with that character's dialogue. They're not actually there in the scene, but the twin brothers helped Nora in 2 major moments of the book. So I love the fact that her twin brothers created a PowerPoint presentation to teach her self-defense classes, and it came in handy. So the twin brothers, I almost felt like they had a mic drop for the win, because she even thought to herself, I was never going to use this. Why are they doing this? And it helped. And then again, with you mentioning the Weasley twins with their pranks, the twin brothers had the moment of, okay, I'm going to do that tabletop thing that they did and have I'm just going to say the bad guy. I was going to say the name, but I'm not going to do it. The bad guy goes toppling over Dash because she knew exactly how the physics of everything was going to work because the brothers demonstrated it. So these 2 guys were not even in those key points, but they were the ones who saved the day. I'm kind of going like, applause to them. Okay, people are talking. I'm missing the comments. I love that the twins helped to keep Nora safe. I think that's so sweet because they're the younger brothers too. They're not older, they're younger, but they're still thinking about their sister. Oh, I love it. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes. So people are commenting. So did you have a favorite twins moment? I'm just curious if there was something that they said or did, or you're like, yep, this is the thing for them.
I didn't have any favorite moment personally. I just over and over again when they were saying things and stuff, it was just laughing. And yeah, they were just that funny throughout, I
thought at the end when they wanted to play a murder game in a castle where there was a murder, that's something only kids can do with an unironic sense of morality or ethics, or going, oh yeah, this isn't in poor taste at all. We're going to play a murder game. It's fine. But everyone ended up having a great time because of them. I just got the biggest kick out of them. Yes, murder ball. What? I'm also going to give Veronica Bond, aka Julia Buckley, a little bit of a shout out with that too, because they were written as their age. So a lot of times you'll have authors who have characters who are younger, who do not sound young at all. They use their SAT big letter words, and you're going, okay, yeah, that 6-year-old would not know what that word is. So we have the twins who are in high school who felt and read like they were in high school. So I was very happy with not just their characterizations, but the fact that they felt realistic. And I mean, that was for a lot of the characters too, but I'm just going to kind of say, because they're the only young characters aside from Jay that we really encounter, that, tipping my little like writerly cap to Julia Buckley there.
Yeah. And that is tricky. Like writing younger characters, it really is a skill. So good for her.
I like the boys will be boys, but I just saw, where was it? Grace playing in a castle. So playing murder ball in a castle sounds like it would be a lot of fun. That would be hysterical. I mean, I'm just kind of picturing like this, if you're adapting this sort of story, that would be a wonderful sort of scene, because that has the action, the setting. That would be wonderful. That's great. Like, again, tipping your little hat to Julia Buckley. Oh, this is cute. I would read a series with the twins as the sleuths. I like that.
Right? Yes.
There's an idea.
But were there any other characters or moments where you're going, okay, well, I want to make sure I have a note of this, want to bring it up. So I'm going to ask Christina and Paula, if you guys in the comments, if there's a certain character, scene, line of dialogue, something you're going, oh, we have to talk about this, please comment, because I want to know. I want to make sure we discuss exactly what you want to talk about tonight, because this is your book club.
Well, I would like to talk about the fact that the stalker was kept.
Yes.
The knowledge of the stalker was kept away from Connie.
Yep.
So what do y'all think of that? I thought, no way. I would, if I was Connie, I would be so mad that they didn't let me in on that.
Christina, do you want to go first? What did you think?
100% agree with that. When they brought that out, and Connie was like in the book, she was very angry about that. I 100% supported that. I mean, seriously, if I'm in danger, you're not going to tell me because you want to protect me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. As if I'm some delicate flower that needs protecting. People, we are not in the 1800s anymore. So
right.
Not okay.
Yeah.
I would think that it was interesting that maybe this is, again, a writer thought process that she kind of had to jot down or draft through. But I was kind of fascinated by the fact that you kind of get both point of views of okay, he did this is how Derek perceived it, what he did. But then you have Connie saying, no, you should have told me. So you had both point of views written and elaborated upon. So it wasn't just, oh, this is what happened and she accepted it, or, oh, we're going to now have, them headbutting and she's never going to talk to him again, taking it to a whole new drastic level. I thought that there was a realistic way that she wrote it, which I appreciated. Again, I think in my own head, when it comes to something of this nature, if you're in danger, yes, I want to know, because I'm a very detail-oriented person. Again, if you can't tell by the fact that I'm drawing on all the details in this book, but when you're the person in danger, and Connie ventures off the property, so she's not just, yes, she lives there, but she does go into town. She does go out into the yard. She does do things. So those are the moments where she needs to be aware of her surroundings. So yes, maybe if she's just on the campus of the castle, you can kind of get away with saying, oh, we'll keep her in the dark for now, but that for now should be underlined with little asterisks. So if you're going out into this, the town, doing some exploring, I think she should have known, because otherwise how is he going to handle that? Again, Dash, what is he supposed to do? Follow her, be a second stalker that she's,
exactly.
Not
as a gardener. Why is the gardener always following?
Yeah, I could see Derek's way. Like, I wasn't super upset about it at first, but again, once I started thinking, like, she goes off the property, she does this, she does that, I'm like, okay, yeah, he should have told her. So it kind of sunk in for me a little bit.
Yeah, and wouldn't you, if you know someone's out there, aren't you going to be like more just aware of your surroundings and looking for things? Just to be aware that you could be in danger, as opposed to just lively going along, being happy, and not realizing that somebody could be around the next corner. So no, I don't, if she was like 6 years old, okay, yeah, don't tell her, but she's a grown woman, so please don't not touch her.
I'm nodding along, and I like that. So Grace's comment here says, and potentially dangerous, she could report back to Dash if she noticed anything in her day-to-day life. And then I saw another comment down here. So a couple people are talking about this, and this is where I think the logic comes into play of why this was the decision. This was the turning point for Connie having a moment of, oh, Derek cares about me. Maybe there's the romantic. Nora points it out, but this is when all of the castle members find out that Derek has feelings for Connie. And that's when Nora realizes it. And then she tells Connie to go for it because she knows he's already there. So that really was a catalyst and an important moment. So I'm liking that people are talking about that. Like, there was more to this than just him keeping her in the dark. It was him keeping her in the dark because X, Y, and Z. Like, we're filling in the blanks. Like, there's more to this to fill in. Yes, Debbie. It was a vehicle for Derek to reveal his feelings for Connie, but risky.
I like that, but it could have backfired. It could have been Connie was like, absolutely not. You cannot treat me like that and keep me in the dark. I'm a grown woman, like Chris said.
Yep.
So I definitely could have seen it backfiring. Of course, it's fiction and the writer wrote it how she did. So
as a writer, I don't think it was a bad thing to do, because it did create dialogue and this pivotal moment for the romance and everything. So as a writer, I think that was great that she wrote it that way. Yep. As a woman, if that was somebody, then I would have a problem with it.
There we go.
Again, you're like, literary versus real. The literary fictional world, how I would react in the actual world. Very different. I think the character of Connie was also something that she probably kept in mind when creating this moment, because Connie is, again, the character everyone likes. She's the character who's very bubbly and sweet. She's not pushing people away. She's not she immediately takes a liking to Nora and everything. So as far as characterizations go, it was in line with her to forgive him and move on pretty quickly. But if you had someone who was very aloof or whatever, that was going to play out so differently. Or it would have been a sharp contrast if the character forgave him very quickly. It would just not have worked. So the fact that Connie was written the way she was allowed it to kind of play out and move past it. But if that was a different character that she had written, it would have been the end of that relationship. It just would have been. Oh my gosh. I'm looking down. I'm like, oh, the notes. And I don't want to miss comments. Okay, what am I looking for? So that was, you mentioned the stalker. Christina, was there something else you wanted to talk about when it came to the story?
I loved how they had the secret rooms and passages.
Mm-hmm.
That is just like totally something that I love in a book, and you don't get to see very much of that. And so I thought that was wonderful. And that was where I was also referring back to the map a lot of the time, was to try and understand where they were and how that all worked. But that was just such a fun element that was written into the book. So yeah, I enjoyed that. And I have to say, I was very suspicious of Elspeth in the costumer.
Oh, really?
Because she had that secret passage off of her costume room and everything. And yeah, I was quite suspicious of her. And so, yeah.
So again, this is me, my little cozy mystery reader brain. As soon as Elsbeth helped the kittens and took the flowers out of her hair for the kittens to play with, I took her. I just was not suspicious of this woman at all. She could do, I'm like, you can do no wrong. Okay, you go live your life. You're fine. So as soon as she was nice to the three little Brontes, I just did not consider her a suspect. But again, if there had not been a scene with the cats, she would have been right on the top of the suspect list. Like, I know as soon as she was nice to the kittens, I was just like, and I'm washing my hands of you as a suspect. But if that scene did not exist, no, I was going to keep her because she had everything and access to she had so much access. She could have been such a different character, but the kittens, and she has the cat. So, it's fine. Okay, we have a question. Which one was the chef? Is that Zara?
Zana or Zana?
Zana. Okay, so that's also something that I was I had a question about. So these people are all actors, but they are eating very, very well. There was no stereotypical actor going, no, I need to keep in shape. I need to count my calories. I was very impressed with the actors that were here. They were very realistic as humans go. Maybe because I've only ever encountered, on that personal one-on-one of, oh, I got to make sure I'm ready for the stage. We weren't seeing that. They were eating pancakes with syrup and bacon. They were doing fine.
Yeah, I was a little envious, actually. So, yeah, when Nora was chowing down, I'm thinking, this is so unfair. But I mean, it was nice, that they had that like real people element. And I mean, to be fair, they're not Hollywood stars. They were, actors in a small, theater type of production.
Yeah.
So.
And most of them were fairly young. Like, how old's Nora? She's in her early 20s. Yeah. I had that metabolism in my early 20s too.
Same.
It's long gone.
Yes. Yes. Farewell to you.
Bye.
I wanted what they were eating. I mean, I also am very curious. Would you go to one of these murder mystery dinner parties? Would you pay for the in castle dark experience?
In a heartbeat.
Definitely.
You would. I was just very curious because I've never done a murder mystery dinner party, and I was kind of in love with the idea of the people who were attending this particular event were all the detectives versus learning their lines or being assigned the murder, like being the murderer, and you're just assigned like this is your role, and you're going, I don't want to be the murderer, and you have to portray the character that's assigned. I liked the fact that she adapted the murder mystery dinner party to the type of thing that I myself would want to attend, because if you're given a character and you don't like your character, you don't want to be sitting in the corner all night like I didn't want this, or oh, why didn't I get that character? I'm envious of so and so over there. I like the way she twisted it for her book. I want this to be the way murder mystery dinner parties are always done now.
Yes.
Well, and that they switched it up every little bit. The script was different, or even if it was the same script, the players were different. So I thought that was cool.
They said every 6 weeks they do a different script, and I also like that Derek was writing them every time. So he's a very busy man.
Yeah, well, and they are too, because they'd be learning. Well, I guess, I mean, if you're an actor in a weekly show, you're learning new lines all the time too. So that's just the job. I can't imagine it, but I mean, that's their talent. So
I mean, I'm also going to say maybe that's one of the benefits of living close by. You guys can run your lines and kind of figure out, oh, we can use this setting. And oh, yeah, we have this to play with, and kind of figure things out instead of having to picture it in your head. You can actually be there and, do the hands-on kind of prep work. But I am just so fascinated by this. I'm going, this is something I'd actually really want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, yes, Lady Gizmo. Lots of improvisation, though. That's very true. Also, I think you'd have to put your little introvert side in a box for the night. So that would take a different sort of mentality for the evening.
Actually, I love the little the young girl who was one of the detectives and kept figuring out and seeing the clues and stuff. I thought that was really cute too, the way that put in.
I mean, I'm also very curious about the people who attended the night that there was the murder. So if you're attending a murder mystery dinner party and someone says there's a murder, I'm just going to assume it's part of the act. I would still be standing there like, yeah, these police being paid character actors, where'd they get their costumes? They look so realistic. It would take me a little bit to believe them. Like, even if they flat out said this isn't a part of the script, I would still be going, are you sure? Or are you just messing with me? Because I think it's part of the script. So I would still be in the parking lot behind the car like, am I supposed to go home or is this part of this? I'm so curious how they would have handled that.
Yeah. And I mean, hopefully none of the guests would be traumatized. Hopefully they're all real murder mystery buffs and just see a body and it's like, oh, well, that's okay.
Ooh, Grace, that's cool.
I know. I'm like, this is so fun that you guys did this before. I'm envious. I'm like, this sounds like such a great experience. I love the idea that you did that as a bachelorette party. Like, those are your people too. Like, you had people to go with who wanted the same experience and have that be that memorable moment before the big day, the bonding event. Oh, I love it. You guys are so cute. Like, you're also gonna have to tell me where you went, because now I need to know so I can look into these things myself. Like, gotta get out that box, gotta do the things. Oh my gosh, you attended one on a cruise. Regina, go you.
I've seen them in my area on a train. So they do Murder on the Orient Express type one. And I always thought that would be a lot of fun. I have not done it though.
I was going to say, you're a mystery writer. You got to do this. You got to go for the inspiration.
Actually, one of the lady who owns the bed and breakfast here in town that I base the bed and breakfast on in my books, she mentioned to me a while ago about doing a murder mystery dinner at the bed and breakfast. So, so one of these days we're gonna have to
definitely
and talk about it, and so that's exciting.
I'm so jealous right now.
So now I want to hear, these people who have done them. I want details. So in the comments or something, they need to give those details, because that sounds really exciting.
Oh yeah, no, please comment. Yes, if you please answer her question about this, because I want to know as well. I've never done one, so the more information you can tell me, I am so intrigued by this. But every comment tonight is going towards a giveaway. So Kensington Cozies, they're just so generous. So one lucky sleeper tonight is going to win 3 cozy mysteries thanks to Kensington. I love them. So the cozy mysteries, I'm just going to look down and read this. So A Very Woodsy Murder by Ellen Byron, Puzzle Me a Murder by Roz Noonan, and Chaos at the Lazy Bones Bookshop by Emmeline Duncan. So 3 cozy mysteries, 1 winner. All of your comments will be gathered, and I will randomly pull 1 comment from the mix, and that comment, the person who posted it, is the winner. So please comment away, because I think that is an amazing prize.
It is. And I know at least 2 of them are like brand spanking new. So I'm guessing maybe that 3rd one is too. Nice.
Yep. They all just came out in the past. I think the book birthday for 2 of them was last week, and 1 of them just came out today. So I'll bring you.
Yes, I got one from Emmeline Duncan. So it's upstairs waiting to be read.
Oh no, I actually put that aside because I wanted to read it with my autumn vibes. So I put it aside. I'll read this when my pumpkin spice is out. Like, as soon as the pumpkin spice is out, I'm reading that book.
Same. Yeah.
Oh, the comments are pouring in. Oh, I love this. A train, a cruise. Let's do this. No matter where we can go. Murder mystery dinner party. Yes. I mean, the only thing about the train would be you can't get off if something goes wrong. That would be my only question. Like, that's the whole problem with Murder on the Orient Express. Like, they get stuck on the train, and that's how things go haywire.
It would be much the same as with a cruise. I mean, you'd kind of be out there in the middle of the ocean. So I
know. I'm picturing the Titanic. I'm like, where are the little floaties? How do you get out of here if something happens? Like, if this was an actual death on the premises, what's supposed to happen? I would still think you're kidding me. The winery idea is interesting. I mean, again, you're limiting that to the adults because, again, winery, I'm not, got to be 21 to go there, I'm imagining. So I like the idea that, it's an adult sort of murder mystery dinner party. Like, I mean, no offense, no kids, but like, I think that's interesting that it creates a different environment. Oh my gosh, you guys are so cute. I want to do one of these now. That seems so fun. But yes. Oh, yes. Again, comment for your chance to win the Lazy Bones bookshop. I haven't read Ellen Byron's either, but I love her writing. So that's why I haven't read hers yet, because I know I'm going to want to just keep reading it. And I haven't had the time to just sit down and just keep reading it. So I need to clear the schedule at some point so I can actually catch up on the TBR. So it's on there though. TBR, It's never ending. But that actually reminds me, because as I'm looking down at the notes, I don't want to forget, because Paula is coming back later on this kind of Cozy Mystery Book Club season. So tonight is Death in Castle Dark, but the next book on our current TBR is Dead and Gondola. So please add Dead and Gondola to your TBR for next month. So you just reminded me of that when we were talking about the TBRs. So I want to make sure I highlight that before I forget or get distracted, because there's, again, a lot of stuff to talk about tonight and I don't want to overlook anything. And the comments are pouring in. Okay, so we didn't talk about the most important thing when it comes to a murder mystery: the mystery and the murder. Did you solve the mystery of Death in Castle Dark? Paula, you're shaking your head no.
Nope, I did not. The killer was not on my radar. Someone very close to her was. Her. See, I just ruined it.
Well, we're at the part in the evening where we're going to get into the full spoiler of the mystery. So hopefully you guys are ready for spoilers. But please let me know in the comments if you yourselves solved it, if you struggled, because it seemed as if not a lot of people solved it when I posted that question on Instagram and Twitter. So I'm curious if someone did solve it, or if you were able to do that, because there wasn't a lot of information on the killer and the motive. So if you solved it, I'm very impressed. So Christina, you were shaking your head as she was talking.
Yeah, same as Paula. I thought it was the person near and dear to the killer who was the murderer. And so I was quite surprised when that finale ended up the way it did, because I did not have that person on my radar.
Oh, I clicked the wrong thing, but hello. Change the camera for now. We're talking about the mystery. We're getting into the zone here. Changing the angle. I was trying to pull up the comment, but we're changing the camera angle. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes here. But I am so curious, because if you guys did not solve it, I want to know who your main suspect was. Who did you think the killer? Who did you think was the bad guy? Because I'm very curious. Because again, when it came to solving this mystery, I'm not saying that this is a bad thing, but I don't think there were a lot of breadcrumbs for you to solve everything. So if you did solve it, go you, because I did not understand the motive until the 75-80% mark of the book. So
when it was revealed to me, when the author told me, I thought it was her boyfriend. I thought it was Bethany's boyfriend.
Yeah, and that makes sense.
Of his name right now, and failed to write it down. So.
Yeah.
So I did not solve this one, but when I say I didn't solve it, I basically was like, it's either going to be Bethany or at one point I was like, maybe it's Tim, maybe it's Tyler. Also, it drives me nuts when there's a Dash and a Derek, a Tim and a Tyler. I kept getting confused, like which one was which. So I had Bethany as one of my top 2 suspects, mostly because, one, she was not an animal person, and she was one of the very few people who did not care that there were kittens. If there are kittens, you care, because it's a cozy mystery. And she was a little they kept saying how over dramatic she was. And I'm just going to throw this out there. So this was, again, how my little brain works. They had the castle on lockdown, except for one character who lives in town with her husband. So the one person who was coming and going at their leisure was the one person who should not have been going and coming at their leisure. So for me, the irony of that kind of made it like, hey, here's a little flag to look over here. So for some reason, the fact that she was the one person coming and going was like, I'm looking at you. So for me, that was my like, let's zone in on this character moment. And I'm missing all the comments. Oh my gosh. So yes, me and my animals, it's a legit thing, and I'm not wrong.
You're not wrong.
When it comes to
I need to pay more attention to that.
Well, again, I mean, when you're a dog mom or a cat mom and you love animals, like, yeah, they're just, no matter what cozy mystery or book you're reading and there's an animal, you're just gonna go, eh, you're cute, I'm looking at you now. So who was your second suspect? Who was your person, Christina? Who are you looking at?
I'm not gonna lie, I really was distracted by Connie and his brother. I kept thinking, I thought the brother, he's working outside, at this job that he's stressed out by, that he's clearly not happy with, and he's having to, support this castle dream of Derek's. And I thought, there was resentment there, and he's just making it seem like he's happy and okay with it. And I was thinking that was, him or Connie, the sweet, sweet girl who's being all wonderful to Nora, and then she's going to be the killer at the end. So I was going for the least likely people to be the killer because they liked the animals and they were animal people. I was looking for that least likely suspect.
I'm noticing the comments. There's a pattern of there were a lot of characters. You guys are thinking it was Bethany's husband, Tyler, mostly because he had very little to do with the story itself. So he just kind of shows up going, hey, the night of the murder, I'm going to bring my wife a jacket. I mean, right off the bat, that's the one night he comes to a performance. So immediately you're going, and we have a questionable character over here. Because again, how cold could it really have been in this castle? And you couldn't have asked to borrow something from the costume department. So that's just me. That was also on my radar where I'm going, you literally are given a costume and you apparently do a number of performances. There's no sweater you can borrow. Just, again, my brain.
And he brings the jacket and supposedly doesn't stay for the performance.
Why? I mean, I would support my significant other, but that's just me.
Yeah.
Oh, Regina, you thought it was Connie and you were so happy when it wasn't. Yes, I was a big Connie fan. I liked Connie. I would have been really sad if it was her. Because, yeah, Sonia, you think Connie seemed too good to be true. But don't you want a friend like that? Someone who immediately takes a liking to you and is like, yep, I'm going to give you a tour. I'm going to hang out with you. I've got this. Like, that's a nice friend to have. So, but if it had become her, I would have been really upset. And I would not want to pick up book 2. So, because it wasn't Connie, book 2 was an option. Yeah. Okay, so people were saying they think it was Tim, they thought it was Tyler, and they thought it was Paul. So you talked about Paul and his motive. So Tim and his, I love how we get multiple mentions of Tim and his short, tight bike shorts. Tim, the cyclist. So Tim, who got a little creepy at times, or at least during one conversation with Nora. Paula, what did you think of Tim?
Tim, I thought the whole bike ride where he got a little creepy with Nora was a red herring. Mm-hmm. He was never a suspect for me. Yeah, I just wrote him off for the most part.
Christina, Did you think it was Tim?
No, as soon as he invited her off for that bike ride, I crossed him off my suspect list because it was too soon in the story. It was too obvious. Yeah.
Diva Temple. Tim was creepy, but I feel like his creepiness happened too early in the novel for him to be the killer. LOL. And you're exactly right. If that had happened later on, then you kind of would have been like, okay, we're moving up the list. Also, I thought it was hysterical that Nora thought he had a fake girlfriend. I mean, it was even then when he showed her photos, I would not, if I really did not think you had the significant other and you show me photos, I'm just going to think you're crazy and Photoshop them. Like that would not be enough to convince me. So she was convinced very easily. I would have had more questions and probably would have had more doubts. But I like this. Vicky thought it was Zaina. You weren't sure about her library hobby. So would you like to explain what the library hobby is, Paula? Because you just did the little hand gesture.
She was in the library several times. Nora and Connie went in the library and found her like shaking out the books. So that was a little suspicious, but then at the same time, I'm thinking she's doing it right in front of them. They think they're being tricky and hiding from her and that she doesn't know they're there. She knows they're there. So she was just looking for fun stuff that people have left in books, which I think is really funny.
Yes.
I'm loving the comments. So her hobby is going in, opening up books to be like, did someone leave something? Nope, we're going to put it back. I'm picturing the Beauty and the Beast library. Like, exactly. How big is this library for this woman to have been employed here this long? And this is still her hobby. Also, like, what is your Wi-Fi connection? Because there's always something on Netflix. Like, how is this your hobby? Like, I'm just so curious about that. Because this is my other thing, right? So I'm someone who multitasks. So when I have something on the TV, chances are I'm folding laundry, I'm doing something on the computer, I'm probably doing something bonding with the dog. Like, I always have a million things going on at once. And she's just doing this. Like, she's just opening up books, checking them and putting them away. Like, she doesn't even have music on. She doesn't have earbuds in. She's not even like humming to herself. She's just doing this. And for some reason, the fact that she was like so focused on this, I was fascinated by that. I'm like, how are you just in the zone? Like, it reminded me of one of the Buddhist ideas of like, when you're in the moment, you focus on the moment. Like, I thought there was like a very like meditation approach to this. And so I want to know more about this hobby. Like, do people do this? Like, are you going to take this up now? Like, I had so many questions about this. Yeah. Okay, Carl,
was an interesting one. That was one that kind of came when she said that's what her hobby was. Like, that was not what I had thought she was up to. So, yeah, out of the blue.
I mean, even if she had just thought like she left one of her paychecks in there or something, like, I'm just curious, like, how do you just keep picking up books in the library? But I love that they actually found stuff in the books.
Yeah. I've actually seen, and it's been a long time and I don't follow any accounts in particular, but I think on Instagram or somewhere, I have seen people, look what I found in a book. And then they'll have, like a second picture of all of the things I've collected that I've found in books over the years. But as a actual hobby, and I did the same thing, Angela. I'm just picturing this has got to be an incredibly huge library that just goes on and on and on. For her to spend all of her breaks in the library shaking out books.
I have so many questions about this. Like, why wouldn't you just, because we're also in the present day. This book came out in 2021, I believe. So you could be putting on a podcast or listening to a book on audio or just listening to iHeartRadio. There's so many things you could be doing in this moment in addition to your hobby. So the fact that she's just doing the hobby is what I find so captivating. I'm like, you must really love this as a hobby. Why do you love this as a hobby? I'm also curious how she's fanning the books. Like, are you cracking the spine? How do you avoid making sure you don't overlook something? I need more information about this hobby. Like, I just saw Claudia's comment saying you work in a library and you find different things in the books. Because when it comes time for someone else to pick up the book, I'm thinking it's probably been through a few hands. So you're hoping someone hasn't taken things out already. But I just saw Rose's comment. Your dad hid money in his books and you found over $200 after he passed. That is, that's amazing. That's fascinating to me. Also, I'm curious if he hid it in his favorite books. I'm curious which books he hid it in. Like, if there was a reason why the money was in certain titles.
Huh. That was something that happened. National Treasure. Remember, if you guys saw that, that was the dad hid money in the books. So very cool.
Thank you for that reference, because there's not enough National Treasure references in the world. Oh, yes. Thank you. Okay. T, wasn't she a mom? She needed silence. That's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah, she was Kate's mom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that's the thing. Yeah. This was her moment of like, okay, this is what we're focusing on.
Did she come across as a little grumpy to you? To me, she came across as a little bit of a grumpy person.
Oh, I'm just seeing a comment. Welcome to the Cozy Mystery Book Club. I just saw the comment. This is your first time. Welcome. That's so exciting. I'm happy that you're joining us tonight. Oh, and I love the name of your account. That's amazing. and I'm seeing I'm trying to keep up with all of the comments. And I like the idea that you guys are saying you appreciate the silence mean, that's something maybe I should be striving towards, just doing the one thing at a time. So maybe this is something I should aspire to. Maybe this is a hobby I should take. I don't know where I would take up this hobby because these are my books, but still, I can say something and forget which book I put it in. Yeah, I know. I'm kind of going because Claudia mentioned that she found things in books. I'm going, what are people finding in books? What can you leave in there that's small enough to go unnoticed, but also monumental enough to be hidden away?
Usually I find receipts from a library, or if I buy a used book, it's usually a receipt or a bookmark. Yeah.
So the fact that we were talking National Treasure was mentioned reminded me that one of my questions had to do with very early on in the book. I thought it was hysterical that, again, maybe this is also why I didn't think of Claudia or Connie. Claudia posted the comment why Connie wasn't a suspect was because Nora wanted to know who her favorite comedian was. And when she ever said Melissa McCarthy and she goes, Spy is one of my favorite movies, they somehow bonded over the love of comedians. And the fact that she thought that was the question of, okay, if they like someone who's too like this, or if they like someone who's too loud, too on the nose, someone who says things that are off-putting, the fact that that was her question to figure out if someone could be your friend, I had never heard that before. Like, I never thought to ask, who's your favorite comedian? I mean, maybe I don't know enough comedians, but for some reason, that just totally captivated me and caught my attention. So I'm just throwing that out there.
No, I thought the same thing. I thought I would just be, silent if somebody asked me that question. I don't know.
Yeah, I draw a blank. The only comedian that immediately comes to mind is like Eddie Murphy or.
I mean, I've been watching some stuff more recently on Netflix. I mean, Eliza Schlesinger, like as an actual comedian, I think she's hysterical. I mean, John Mulaney, his comedy specials are very, very entertaining to me. But I don't really think I know enough full-on stage comedians to really draw an educated opinion. So I appreciated the fact that the conclusion was Melissa McCarthy, because I've been a fan of her since Gilmore Girl days.
Absolutely.
So. Yeah. I was like, I'm good with that.
Same.
But they are actors, and so I'm guessing they are more aware of that medium and who's in it. So
maybe, yeah, I'm gonna say there's got to be something to that, because I saw other people's comments. So we had Bob Newhart. Someone else mentioned Lucille Ball, because I want to make sure I reference, because this is my questions. Jack Benny. I don't think there are any others listed, but a lot of people were commenting. And so I always try and post things in the stories to make sure I talk about what you guys want to talk about. And also I try and throw in some questions there that we might not get to talk about during the event. So I'm just looking down to pull up what the things that you guys commented were. But yeah, some of you had your favorite comedians and most of them were actors. So on the same wavelength. Carol Burnett, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a really good one. Hey, okay, Meredith. I did not know that. Melissa McCarthy is from the Chicago area. So that was perfect for the book. I didn't know that. So
that's an Easter egg.
Probably.
Yeah, I'm going, okay, that's fascinating. Okay, that's a really fun little thing to pull out of there. That's very, I'm intrigued. and yes, Gilmore Girls. Yeah. Yep. Oh, Eugene Levy. Oh, Schitt's Creek was one of my favorites. Oh, Schitt's Creek. That was great.
Moira Rose. Love their humor.
Catherine O'Hara. I will never get tired of rewatching that show. It's great.
Tina Fey. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, although why she remade Mean Girls is a whole separate live stream discussion. That's a whole separate tangent. But you guys are so cute. Yeah, if there is something else you guys wanted to talk about, please add it to the comments. If there's something from the book, a scene, character, line of dialogue, if you have a question about something, please comment away, because I want to make sure that we address them. I'm just looking down to make sure, I think we touched on all of my notes. But is there something else you guys wanted to talk about when it was a character scene, something that jumped out at you? Paula, anything where you're like, I want to make sure from my notes we discussed this?
Not really for me, but I'm curious with Christina had said that there was a point that something happened in the book where she actually jumped.
Yes.
Was that the hallway?
It could have been. I was looking for it earlier before I went on the live stream trying to find it, and I couldn't find it. But yeah, it was like where she was in the hallway or something like that. And then all of a sudden something happened and I literally was like, like gasp out loud. It was that suspenseful for me. So, and I mean, maybe other people, it didn't
I was curious if it was the scene where something woke her up in the middle of the night and she gets up and there was, what was he, a scary priest or monk in the hallway?
No, I don't think that was that, though. That had me like literally sitting there, like, you know, just yeah, like it was just, she did that so well. But no, there was I will, if I think of it, I will post it on my my social media, that the exact moment when I literally gasped because I was just scared.
So I'm glad that this is the moment, because this was the one note that I just found as I'm looking down. So I was very confused and or unsure of what was happening in that particular scene at first when it came to the costume. I was wondering, at first I thought Nora was dreaming. Then I thought maybe she was sleepwalking. So I had no idea what was going on, because she sees someone in the hallway. And when I this was my, okay, what's going on moment. When the person had the skeleton mask on, I thought she was dreaming. I was going, there's no way this is real. And then when I found out she was awake, I'm going, what just happened? I actually had to go back and reread the scene because I was trying to figure out what was going on, because I in no way thought she was conscious. I thought she was dreaming. And so the fact that there was a skeleton mask and that just seemed normal. We're like, yeah, of course we had a skeleton mask on hand for our last play, whatever we did. Yeah. I mean, also the fact that you're creepy and crazy enough to go and find the skeleton mask, like you could grab anything from that costume department and that's what you choose. Like you're intending to scare someone and be creepy.
Absolutely.
You're doing that with
followed her down the staircase. Which again leads me to, I mean, this is part of it, but a little bit off topic of this is, so we talked about the food, how they're eating all this great food, right? Yet, so Derek's going to spring for all this food, yet we can't have lights on in the hallway.
He's too cheap for the electricity. I mean, I live in Canada, so maybe it's different in the United States or in Illinois, but electricity doesn't cost that much that I'm afraid to turn on a light.
Exactly.
Meredith has the same comment saying LED lights, that wouldn't have cost that much and it would have been much safer for a tripping hazard.
Yeah.
And then Paul wouldn't have needed his contracts or his releases that he brought her in for. And then Nora's saying, I think I actually need 2 release forms. I mean, you could avoid some lawsuits with this.
Yeah. Just turn on a couple of lights. Come on.
Yet it was probably done to keep that Gothic atmosphere, you know, with the castle and everything, you know, with it being dark and everything, because everything's way scarier when you're in the dark and all you've got Absolutely. Is a tiny flashlight in your phone. But I mean, it's.
Yes, because in the classic, you know, the Gothic romances that I read when I was a teenager in early 20s, of course, she'd have her little candle or a little lantern.
I mean, she's walking with the candlelight, or she's out in the moors with her lantern, which is atmospheric. Yeah. I mean, the cell phone, it doesn't have the same gravitas. It just doesn't. No. Yes, right? I just saw this one. You hear noises in the dark hallway, stay in your room. Yes. Right? That's what you do. But otherwise, you would have a book.
And you see someone in a cape and they turn around, they have a skeleton mask, you slam your door and you lock it.
I think that this is also where things were different at the end of the book. Like maybe she learned about castle life, because when Bethany is out behind the door, Nora realizes she's supposed to stay behind the door. Yeah. And then even when Dash, you know, her handsome man to the rescue comes, she decides to stay in her room until there's multiple people in the hallway. So she actually stayed in her room for a solid 10-15 minutes when she could have come out. And I'm going, you're staying in your room when you know it's actually safe for the guy who has the gun to protect you versus going out there in the middle of the night. So I'm like, something's changed in your mentality.
Yeah. Her character's growing a bit.
Just throwing that out there. I mean, yeah. Oh, yes. Thank you. The dog sneaking up behind Nora, although he actually helped her. Like maybe him sneaking was part of it.
That was the point. I think that was the one where I gasped.
The dog with Hamlet. He was so cute. And then in the acknowledgments, Julia Buckley, Veronica Bond, said that her dog is actually very much like Hamlet. And that made me, I smiled at that. Like, oh, that's such a cute idea to write your dog.
Yeah.
And my dog, Digby, who looks an awful lot like Hamlet, and my own 3 cats who are muses for me as the Brontes are for Nora. Aw, cute. But yes. Oh, you guys are talking about Hamlet. And now the Haunted Bookshop series. I'm trying to keep up with the comments. Oh, yes. We also had some fun literary Gothic references with the Brontes and Victoria Holt. And then we even had a Sue Grafton reference. So fun.
Yes, Victoria Holt. I read her too. Yes.
Victoria Holt and Phyllis A. Whitney.
Yeah.
Good references.
Yeah.
Great references.
Yeah.
I also thought she referenced, again, the Bronte sisters frequently, but she referenced Jane Eyre at one point. And I'm going, I know the exact scene that you're talking about. And I was so proud of myself. Yeah. So I love it when, as a reader, you feel like you're in on the joke. So I could kind of get the sense that if you're someone who likes classic literature, you would have gotten a really big kick out of some of the lines. Like you would have felt like you were in on the scene, or like you were right there with Nora. So there's something that I just really appreciated about that. Yes, and I love that you guys, Hamlet was a great part of the book. And Cleo Coyle is amazing. If you guys haven't read the Cleo Coyle Coffee House Mysteries, or her oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the name of it, but she has another one where it's like a renovated and haunted house. Like she has another series that's really great. And when I say she, it's her and her husband. So it's technically a writing duo, but the name is she.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Well, so the face is the wife. Her name's Alice. And so it's her and her husband. I'm pretty sure he's written all of the books with her for the most part. I'm blown away by the Cleo Coyle, the prolific nature, and the fact that the stories, I'm trying to think how to say this. So when it comes to a series that's so long running, some of the books can become predictable. Like if you like one, you're going to like the next one because they all have the same vibe. The fact that everyone is kind of different, or she mixes it up. And again, I don't mean to say she, but like the writing duo, like they mix it up. So it always feels kind of fresh, even though it's the same characters. Again, tip my little writing cap to you. Like, I don't know how you do this every time, but like very good job. I see why we're on book 20 or whatever it is in that series. Right. I mean, good for you. Seriously. Yeah. We're adding books to your TBR, the Rebel A. If you haven't read Cleo Coyle, Victoria Holt, I know we mentioned Vicki Delaney earlier, all of the books. Oh my gosh. We read, yes. So I just saw the comment. So I'm trying to find out where the question was before, but yes. So the Cozy Mystery Book Club meets the last Tuesday of the month, every month at 7 p.m. EST live here on YouTube, but the books are posted about throughout the month, and I'll go pull it up again so that you're in on the TBR. And I love doing this. I love being able to go from check mark to checked off. I can't believe that we're going to be heading into August. That is, I'm blown away. Like, where is this year gone? So the fact that we're already talking about August books is amazing. And next month is Dead and Gondola. And I'm trying to think if there's something else I wanted to pull up as I'm doing this, because as we're talking about this, I want to make sure I reference this. And again, because Christina is actually a former book club read. We read her debut for the book club as our December buddy read last year. I'm losing track of like when things occurred. So we read your book as a buddy read, and Paula's book has already made it on to the 2025 TBR voting. So your book was recommended, and I got to add it to one of the lists. So wow. I forget which month it's under, but I'm mentioning this because I'm trying to make sure I have the 2025 Google voting form ready to go for the August email newsletter. So I'm pulling this up right now. If you have any other Cozy Mystery Book Club recommendations, they have to be titles we have not already read. First Cozy Mystery in a series. The book has to be available across platforms, so it's not just an Amazon exclusive or limited to Barnes & Noble or something like that. So if you have any other additional recommendations, please send in your emails ASAP, because I'm getting this voting list put together and ready to go for the August email newsletter. So this is my email address. And yes, I have the little Cozy Mystery Book Club logo on that cup, and it makes me so happy. But my email is writerahart@gmail.com. And please, please, please sign up for the email newsletter, because when you sign up, I'm going to be sending this, so you guys will have access first. And after that, I'll be promoting it across platforms. But I say that with that little hesitation asterisk, because when it comes to platforms, if the Instagram algorithm is mad, or something goes wrong with one of the I mean, you never know what's going on with social media. I mean, the dumpster fire that became Twitter is a perfect demonstration of you never know what's going on. So I think the email newsletter is the safest, best way to make sure you get that link. Otherwise, unless you want to make sure that you actively go search, because I will obviously post it on the Instagram, Twitter, across platforms, but I think the email newsletter, you are guaranteed to make sure you get that voting form. So I'm stressing, please join the email newsletter family if you haven't yet, because that is going to be the best way to make sure that you get that 2025 TBR and you can get your vote in, because I'm going to leave it up throughout all of August. And I say this because last couple of times I've had to leave the voting forms up a little bit longer because there will be a tie, and I'm always blown away when there is a tie, and this has happened every single year, and I have no idea how that happens. But whenever there's a tie, I always have to leave the polls up a little bit longer, or make sure people know, hey, get this in. So it might be left open till maybe September, but after that I will close it. This way I can double check to make sure everything is, you know, meeting all the requirements for cross platforms, available as paperback, ebook, audio, and I got to make sure everything is in line for everyone for the book club. So this is happening. So please, here are the QR codes to go sign up for the newsletter, to go check out what's going on. So please do that, and I really appreciate it. So please, also, I'll pull this up one more time. Get your last minute cozy mystery requests in. Please do that, because I want to make sure all of the books on the voting poll are submitted by members. I just gather and keep track of everything. I have gone through so many notebooks at this point. I've rewritten titles and I've kept them and carried them over. And so I want to make sure that you guys know all of these titles are submitted by members. So I'm really saying, like, I want you to send me your recommendations. Every so often I'll get a recommendation where the book is not available across platforms, or it's not available as an audiobook. And I just sort of put it aside as like a potential buddy read, or I can do a shout out for that book. So like, even if I can't make it as one of the official like voting titles, I will still make a note and do what I can with the title. So please keep that in mind as I'm like losing my breath right now, my voice. But also, because Christina is here, and this is, again, your face is the perfect reminder because she's so beautiful and so sweet. So Paula's going to be on there for, I want to say it's your Hammers and Homicide is on the list. I forget which month it's under the voting title for, but Christina, so this is going to be the first year for the December Buddy Read that instead of doing a new fresh title, I'm going to be bringing back books from series that we've already started. So your books are all Christmas themed. So book 2 is also going to be on the voting poll for the December 2025 Buddy Read. So this is the very first time I'm doing this, because when it comes to the December Buddy Read, I always want to make sure December has a holiday theme, or it's winter themed, or I can do something to kind of tie it in. And so what I realized is a lot of the books that we've read for the book club, and yeah, when you go look online, so been reading 12 books a year since 2018, but the book club started in 2017 with the tag and the idea and talking about it. So 12 books a year since 2018, there are a lot of books, and a lot of them have Christmas themed books in the series. So bringing back the titles that we potentially already read. So it's not going to be the first book in a series, but it is a series you are familiar with. So the Mrs. Claus, the Santa Line Killings, the next book in that series is also Christmas themed. So they're going to be Christmas themed follow-ups for the buddy reads. So hopefully you guys like that idea, because I couldn't guarantee the first book in a series was winter themed and available across platforms as a different I spent so many hours doing this. There's a reason I'm laughing. Like, I could not put together a comprehensive list of diverse cozies with the winter themes that met all the requirements. So I came up with the idea to do the follow-up. So I really hope you guys like that. So Christina is on the list again. Paula's on the list. So all the applause and cheers for them. As I'm losing my voice as I'm talking to y'all. Oh my gosh. Okay. So comments are pouring in. I'm sorry that I'm just seeing them because I was going around trying to get everything up for you guys to see. Oh, yay. Hey, this is so cute. Yours is the very first cozy mystery for the book club she read. Oh.
Thank you, Megan.
Meredith is going to recommend Paula. See, they're the perfect guests for today because we're talking about the TBR and they're on it. Oh, and yes, so if there are books, you know, if you loved this book and you're like, there's a book I know of that's just like this and you want to recommend it, please do, because you guys clearly seem to have enjoyed this book. And thank you. I'm glad you like the idea of the follow-up, because I spent so long trying to find first books in a series that were cozy mysteries, available across platforms, available as different mediums, and I could not do the list because I want to make sure also that I'm hitting the different notes of, okay, I think it's May is going to be diverse cozy mysteries, but I'm trying to make sure I have representation throughout each of the additional months as well. Like I wasn't meeting what I wanted to with that. So by doing the follow-up buddy reads, it works out. Oh, thank you. It's my pleasure. So I appreciate that. And if there's something else you guys want to add, please talk about it now so I can grab a sip of water and I don't lose my voice entirely.
Yeah, this has been, I don't know about others, but for me, this has been the place where I have discovered some of my favorite cozy mystery series. So yeah, so I mean, like Castle Dark is another example, right? I mean, there is only right at this point anyway, the second one in the series, but I mean, I'd be sure to go and read that. But yeah, you have introduced us to so many fun reads. I'm going to give another shout out to Libby Klein's Poppy McAllister series. That is definitely in my top 5 favorite series. And this is where I discovered her first book when you did that 2 years ago. So, yeah.
I know, it's so funny because when I go back to make sure that, again, it's not a title we've already read, I'm going, I forgot we read this book. Oh yeah, I loved this one, because it's been such a long time. When you go back and you're going, so the book club started for 2017, promote like getting together as a family, figuring things out. So the very first book club read was January 2018. So 12 books a year since 2018. It's added up. There have been a lot of books discussed. So I'm very happy that they were able to, people are able to find different titles, find different authors. When you told me before that it introduced you to your favorite series, I think I cried because that was just amazing. I'm like, yes, I did something right. So I'm very happy that I was able to do that for you. And I think I saw someone asked, all of the books are on the Cozy Mystery Book Club website. So there's a tab that says the books. They're all listed there. So again, I've spent a long time on that website. So underneath it says the month it was read. It has the book cover. It has the book blurb. And there should be a link. It starts probably, I think, around 2020, a link to the YouTube live stream. And as of now, I'm updating all of the transcripts for, it starts again in 2020. So the transcripts for the episode, the podcast episodes that they've become, and the YouTube live stream episodes. So all different contact, or, not contact, but all different platform information should be there as well. So you know where to access the discussion for each of the titles. So it's still a work in progress. There's still more transcripts and more podcast episodes being uploaded and added. So there's still things coming, but there's always something there to hopefully help you. And you can hopefully have all the resources that you need to figure out what's been a previous Cozy Mystery Book Club read. But I'm so happy that you love that book series. And the author is so cute too. Libby Klein is adorable. She's so fashionable. So when it comes to giving someone a shout out, it's always nice when it's an author who's talented, who's also a very nice person to, So
yeah. I've been lucky enough to meet her a couple of times now at conferences. So she's such a sweet lady. And I wanted to give a shout out to you, Angela. I noticed the Cozy Mystery Book Club now has over 10,000 followers. Congratulations.
Thank you. I actually didn't notice until my mother sent me a text message and I'm going, are you sure? So I had to go in and check. So I saw that and I was blown away. So thank you to everyone who's been joining the Cozy Mystery Book Club family. I am always so amazed when people post photos of our monthly read or take part in the discussions tonight. So thank you for joining and chatting about cozy mysteries with me, because I mean, you can't have a book club when it's just you as one person. So thank you for joining and discussing. And I mean, it blows my mind and I'm so appreciative. So I'm just going to keep working hard to make sure you guys know, like, more fun things are coming your way because you join. And I want to say, show my appreciation and my thanks because you guys deserve it. Like, I've been working on 12 days of cozies. So I know someone said this is their first night. So December 1st through December 12th is the Cozy Christmas Extravaganza. I posted the Instagram prompts so you guys can figure out what's going on. So with your book, your bookcases, and if there's a title you can take a photo of. So the 12 Days of Cozies Instagram prompts, aka the themes for this year, have been posted. So again, when I see something like 10,000, I'm going, okay, I got to do an extra good job. So it's just more motivation to keep doing doing stuff for y'all. So every time something like that happens, I'm like, I got to do something else to say thank you. So you guys are so sweet. It gives me so much happiness, and I'm just so blown away and so appreciative. Like I'm just, again, it's just, I get emotional. Because again, when I started, there was nobody, like there was no Cozy Mystery Book Club in existence. I had checked, the only thing that had been in existence was a Goodreads page, book club for Cozy Mysteries, and it hadn't been active for over a year. So when the idea was kind of in the works and nobody was doing this, I'm going, would someone even be interested? And then all of a sudden people started finding, and then it grew and grew. So I'm so beside myself with what it's become, because I never envisioned any of this when I started out. So thank you I think last year the voting had over like 170 or 200 people voting for the TBR. So, thank you for taking part, and I'm hoping you guys will be able to vote for 2025 and make that list happen. And again, this is for you. So I hope you like the titles. So please submit them.
Well, I also want to say, again, thank you for every single thing you do for our cozy community. And you guys out there listening or watching, Angela, the amount of time this woman puts into things, it blows me away. I don't know how she does it. Earlier she showed her little QR code to sign up for her newsletter. Do it. Just one newsletter every single month, you guys. Her newsletter has games and coloring pages, and it's not like my newsletter that's like, oh hey, I wrote a couple of words this month, and here's a picture of my goat. No, that Angela's is like her newsletter is an amazing work of art. And you are going to be blown away.
You're making me cry. Thank you for saying that. You're so sweet. I think
every time I open it, I'm like, how? You must have spent the entire month. How?
I do spend a great deal of time putting everything together for y'all. I think that's what ends up happening is every time someone posts a comment, I'm like, oh, I want to do something to say thank you. I think gift giving is my love language. Like something like the newsletter is like, that's my way of saying thank you for being a part of this and signing up and discussing and celebrating Cozy Mysteries with me. Because again, it's hard when there's so many people. Like I try and respond to all the DMs that I can. So I do try and make sure like there's always something available. And some people don't even realize this. And every so often I'll get a message. When you sign up for the newsletter, at the very bottom, there's a password to access an extra page. You can go in and access all of the previous email newsletters. There's also an entire page of extras in addition to the extras in the email newsletter. So there's even more. There are puzzles, there are Procreate color palettes, there are Instagram highlight covers, coloring pages. And I don't share that anywhere else. So it's a hidden page just for you. That's literally just going to stay private. And I've been adding stuff too. This is the other thing. People don't realize until they go in, several months later and like, hey, there are different graphics. I just keep expanding the page. So more and more stuff to say thank you for being a part of this family. And again, that's my way of showing my appreciation. So I hope you enjoy it. It's more motivation to keep working
at my house. We do. So I can't tell you how many times or how many Christmases especially come to mind, but I've done it for other things too. I've gone in before my family gets here for Christmas and I print out coloring pages and I print out the little word puzzles and things. And then it's on the coffee table with crayons and stuff so that everybody can participate and color your pages and do your puzzle.
You're making me cry. I'm wearing eye makeup. I'm trying so hard not to look like a raccoon right now.
I know Angela sends out stuff with her prizes or like the stuff that people win all the time and has stuff at her when she goes to a conference. She has more swag than everybody else combined at these things. Like she just is amazing. So,
and not only when she goes to the conference, because I know she was not at Malice this year, but there was a bunch of Angela swag. I was like,
I haven't been able to travel this year. So I've had some things going on, off camera in the personal life. So I haven't done any conferences this year, but I did, I donated 2 different gift baskets for the raffles for Malice Domestic. And when I was putting together the box to mail the raffles, I'm going, why don't I just throw some stuff in here, just, just in case they need extras for the table. So I just kept adding stuff to the box. And eventually I'm like, I can't close this thing. So I ended up having to like put some weight on it to get the box closed. So I'm glad it made it. I mean, I have no idea what kind of effort goes in the box. So I'm glad it was there for you to enjoy. And you just reminded me that if you guys post a photo of our monthly read, send me the link to your post because I will send you a bookmark as a thank you. And if you are not in the US or Canada, I actually have a special page on the website because, again, mailing can get expensive, but I have a very special page full of extras that are nowhere else just for you. So I will send you that password as a special thank you. So again, more swag, more stuff. And I actually have a second thing that you just reminded me of. So if you've been joining the YouTube live streams, you're aware of the fact that I've been designing stickers based on every single one of our books this month. Like every single book this year is getting its own unique sticker. So the Etsy has all the stickers uploaded so far, and I keep designing them. But I wanted to let y'all know that I was struggling when it came to this month's design. I was thinking, okay, a castle, but what's going to be the caption? Or cozy mysteries and castles, or castles and cozy mysteries. I kept playing and trying to figure out puns. So I'm asking you to submit your sticker recommendation. And if I take your recommendation and make it into a sticker, I will send you the sticker as a thank you for submitting it. And also your idea will become a sticker and it'll be across platforms on the Etsy and on the Instagram and all sorts of stuff. So send me your sticker recommendations based on Death in Castle Dark. So please do that because I want to make sure I make stickers for things that you guys will enjoy. So if there's a pun or something about this book, you're like, this would make a really nice sticker, whether it's Hamlet or something you guys think would be a great sticker to represent this book, let me know because I want to make sure that all the stickers are represent what you like. So that was something else I was going to ask and make sure I mentioned. So showing the sticker reminded me, I have a note somewhere, but there are a lot of notes in front of me. That's the thing. You guys only see the organized, nice library. You don't see all the crazy papers going on around me. And there's so many comments that I've missed. Oh my gosh, you guys are so sweet. Oh, thank you. And I will just throw this out there too. I don't run the Etsy for profit. If you buy a sticker, I'm going to throw in a whole bunch of extras and double your order at minimum. So basically you're just paying for the shipping. So I just saw someone mention the Etsy. So it's actually, I don't run that for profit at all. It's again, just because I myself, when I love something, I want to wear the sweatshirt. Like when I was in Buffy the Vampire Slayer was probably my very first fandom where I'm like, I am in 6th grade. I love this show. I had my Buffy shirt. Like when you love something, you just want to be a part of it. So that's kind of how I view the book club swag. Like if you love something, you want to show you're a part of this. This is your club. This is your group. This is what makes you happy. Or sometimes you just want something to, make you smile. So it's not for profit. It's for you. So if you want something from Etsy, I'll include the links. And also in the email newsletter, I include coupons. And if you say something pertaining to the email newsletter, I think this month I'm announcing, I know this month, every single Etsy order got an Agatha. She's a little detective named Agatha after Agatha Christie. Got a little Agatha sticker, and she was sparkly and glittery. So there's always something that I announce in the email newsletter pertaining to the Etsy store as I'm trying to remember. And thank you. I'm glad you love Buffy. I just saw that pop up. And Castles and Kittens. That's a cute one. I like that. Yeah, please take some time to think about your recommendations, submissions. You can email them, DM, however. But if there's an idea you think would make a very cute, cozy mysteries inspired sticker, let me know. So I think those are all my notes. But is there anything else you guys wanted to add as you make me cry? And I appreciate all of your kind words because you just made my life with all of your kindness and positivity. But if there's something about yourselves where people can find you, what's next on your list, if there's something you want to mention for people, please do that now because clearly I'm losing my voice. But if there's something you guys want to add, please do so.
Paula, you go ahead.
I can't think of anything. I just, again, thank you so much for having us and for everybody for being here. It's just a joy. And, I echo Chris when I say, I'm always finding books from Cozy Mystery Book Club. This was not on my radar and I loved it so much. So just thank you. Aww. Thank you for all you do.
Yeah, and for me too. Thank you so much. You are a huge supporter of the cozy community, and we as readers and authors really appreciate it. So
Thank you. You just made me cry. So thank you for your kind words and taking the time out to read this book and chat about with me tonight. I mean, again, it's so sweet that you guys said yes to being a part of this. And I believe Paula is going to be coming back for a November YouTube live stream with Annie. So another one of your writing BFFs. Christina is one of the writing BFFs and Annie is a writing BFF. So I know you're coming back in November. So you will be seeing her pretty face and maybe you can be using your different name because you're Paula Charles and I was with Jana.
Yeah. I answered to Paula better since that's actually my name, but
oh, and someone just asked, so you can sign up for the email newsletter on either my website or the Cozy Mystery Book Club website. I also will include the links across platforms. So if you visit any of the websites, the QR code's right there. Also, I'll include this. So if you visit either my website or the Cozy Mystery website, right at the very top of the page, it will have the email newsletter sign up. So all you do is submit your email. And I will also just say this because I know some people, I will not share your information with anybody. Like I'm going to keep it private. I don't even require your name. I know sometimes they require other additional information for signing up for email newsletters. It's just the email newsletter. And so when it comes to the email, I will say, please make sure that you either add Writer A Heart to your contact list, or the first week of the month, every month is when I send out the email newsletter. If you want to just periodically check your spam folder or change your spam filters to add it, please do, because I know every so often someone will say, hey, I didn't get the email newsletter. And there's always just a little technical glitch. So please just make sure that you keep me, please just add me to your, I think adding Writer A Heart to your contact list is the easiest way to go about making sure that once you join the family, you get the submission. So hopefully once you join, you enjoy the newsletter and you stay around. So also, I know there are other free things that are listed. I mean, I really spend a lot of time putting together freebies for y'all. I don't even think people know how many freebies are there in the library. So I will share the newsletter information again across platforms. So this is all the Cozy Mystery Book Club information, and everything's linked down in the description box. So hopefully if you ever have any questions about something, it's already posted somewhere. But if you do ever need anything, just please send me an email and I'll hopefully get back to you as quickly as I can. So as long as technology is being kind that day, I will get back to you quickly. And I'm just making sure. Oh, thank you for joining. You guys are so sweet. I appreciate all of you taking time out to celebrate Cozy Mysteries, discuss this book, and based on the comments, it seems like everyone has enjoyed this book. So I'm very happy that you guys joined a book club discussion and enjoyed the conversation and the book. So that makes me so happy. So thank you for discussing the book, reading the book. You guys are both so prepared and sweet, and you're so positive. So thank you for doing this tonight. And oh, I'm seeing the comments pop up. I will always go back and read the comments when I do the giveaway entries. So if I didn't see your comment tonight, I will see it later and it will be a giveaway entry. So thank you for your comments. Even if I wasn't able to highlight any of them, please know I appreciate them. And I will be seeing them later on tonight, tomorrow. And again, it will take me probably till Friday to get all the giveaway entries ready to go. But by Friday, hopefully I've read all of your comments, because you guys do comment a lot and I love it. It makes me so happy. So thank you for all of your comments, reading the book, and please stay safe, kind, and creative, and happy reading, writing, and sleuthing, everyone. Have a nice night. Bye.